This tutorial will describe the general usage of the acoustic station, also referred to as the buoy processing station, found on the FIG-7, MH-60, and P3 platforms. The respective screens for each are generally alike in their operation, with the exception of a few minor differences on each platform. For detailed information on the acoustic station and all other components of the game, we encourage you to consult the manual. The FIG-7, MH-60, and P3C are all able to process sonobuoy data. In these platforms, sonobuoy transmissions are received, processed, and the data is displayed in the CRT display windows, also called grams. Whenever a gram is turned into a sonobuoy, the data displayed defaults to omnidirectional mode. A sonobuoy in omni mode returns non-directional frequency data, so it cannot determine the bearing of the contact, only that there is something out there. When in omni mode, the sonobuoy only requires 1 gram window. When switched to directional mode, the display will show frequencies and bearings and will require 2 gram windows. Active mode returns bearing and range data and requires 3 windows. Let's return to the nav map station. This symbol represents a sonobuoy. The number below the sonobuoy is the channel on which the sonobuoy is currently transmitting. If the center of the sonobuoy icon contains a red dot, then that indicates that the buoy has detected a contact and is considered a hot buoy. When you hook the buoy in the nav map, it will show you what type of buoy it is, so you will know the buoy's capabilities. The DIFAR buoy is on channel 1 in this mission. It has the ability to display passive sonar information in omni and directional modes. Also, the DIFAR allows you to classify the contact by comparing the narrowband frequencies to a library of known platforms and their frequencies. See the manual for a more detailed description of classification. The VLAD is on channel 2 and is identical to the DIFAR, except that it has a slightly better processor and can passively detect contacts at farther distances. When a mission with a high C state increases the level of background noise, the VLAD should be your buoy of choice to try and separate the contact out of the noise. The diecast is on channel 3 and is similar to the DIFAR with its passive omni and directional modes, but also has the ability to actively ping and therefore to derive target range. Lastly, the BT buoy is on channel 4 and is similar to the XBT probe launched from the submarines in the game. This buoy will determine if there is a thermal layer and the depth for that layer. Since we know the channels that the buoys are transmitting on, we go to the acoustic screen and tune in those buoys and demonstrate the usage of each of their interfaces. On channel 1 is a DIFAR buoy. We can click on the channel digits to tune in to channel 1. We see that there are contacts and their frequencies are shown. By clicking the mode button, the DIFAR will be changed to a directional mode that will occupy another gram. By selecting the bearing of one of the detected frequencies shown, we can mark a contact. On channel 2 is the VLAD buoy. Its interface is identical to the DIFAR, and we can enter directional mode to begin to mark contacts. By clicking the library button, we can classify the contact and decide if the detected platform may be hostile. On channel 3 is the diecast buoy. When in active mode, the diecast buoy requires 3 gram windows for processing. We will click the transmit button and mark the bearing and range of the resulting contacts. The BT buoy is on channel 4 and has little in terms of interaction. However, the thermal layer is very important for finding enemies below the depth specified. Take note of the thermal layer and then tune the gram to process another buoy. At any time, we can also scuttle the buoy by clicking the scuttle button. Be careful though, once a buoy is scuttled, you will no longer be able to tune it in. That completes our tutorial of the acoustic station and general sonobuoy usage. Consult the manual for additional details on each of the acoustic stations on the FFG, P3, and MH-60 and tactics to utilize those stations successfully in the game.